06, 4097, 87, and 78. I'll get these all typed up for you and get them stuck in the chat and show them. I was supposed to be gone this morning, but things got changed, so I'm going to be here a while.
All right.
Hey, Marcus, good morning. Thomas. You should see a series of 3 charts in a separate chart window. 2 time frames for the S&P 500 E-mini and a 30-year bond chart. This is Trade Along Live with Saul. Don is hosting today. Don is an aficionado in his trading. He's a student of Saul's. We're glad to have him. Just posted the levels in the chat area. Make sure you write them down, load them into your software. Pay attention to what happens in and around those levels. Those are the actionable areas. They're called levels and zones because that can change based on price movement and price action.
All right, let's see where we're going to ride today. Our pivot and our blue band sit on top of each other. Imagine that. As soon as it helps, we go down to 10 first, then bounce up, but it is what it is.
It was
having trouble this morning with that 23 area. We'll have to wait and see how it handles it. I haven't left, y'all. I'm just I had a reason to stick that 22 in there, and I didn't do it. The main reason is Rube, I am still running. We're running about a 22, 23 handle, 4 to 5 points.
Okay,
we're going to have to get past that 2250. There we go. Now let's see what we got to get to do with the 27. I hope we don't miss about a point today.
You
You can use the I was using the exact numbers this morning. I'm trying to make sure we're going to get a fill on this thing. We open at 16. That 27 should have gave us a decent little pause in here. If nothing else, it's giving you a chance to scratch the trade. You could have made a little bit on the first pass down back to the downside back there. If you're still holding it, you're making a little bit. You got to just determine, when to get out. You're going to try and hold it to where, is it going to get down some? Let's see, where should we come back down to? We ought to come back down to 23. Twenty-three, 24 area would be a good spot to take some profits.
I
I missed the 27. I got in at the 28.
I've been
doing housekeeping this morning, so
I'm
behind. I'm not paying attention.
Hey,
The 2350 area.
23 and a
Get a quarter down there.
Oh, the 27
is working. Even if you had a grip with one stop in there.
I've got a little
Support at 23 here. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. We have a whole boatload of news coming out around 9 o'clock today, so you want to keep that in mind if you're trading at 9.
We have
durable goods, factory orders. And at 9:30 we got ISM. Excuse me, that's at 9 o'clock, the ISM numbers. And at 9:30 the oil assessment comes out. So between 9 and 9:30, this thing's going to move. Chop around a lot anyway, so just keep that in mind. We're back to the 23. I wanted to use the 17 as pivot this morning, but the way it was opening up, it kept the other bad did that. That was 3 or 4 points off. I'm going, wait a minute, this is not right.
So I
anticipated, and it settled right between them.
Yeah.
That's the thing about the numbers. I mean, it'll run past it. We had to stand a little heat, but then the numbers worked out. I didn't have an order sitting there exactly at 27
like
Like I said earlier, I put 27 down because yesterday we just seemed to barely hit them. Today I will probably use 28 again today. And it hit the 17 and ran to what we get to 29 and change and then backed off.
So
I was behind. I kind of maneuvered the numbers around a little bit to where we would get filled. I hate to get up there and we have these big moves and we're left sitting there holding the bag. 28 would have been a really good number. We're down 10 points. We're back at our blue band. We're It wouldn't surprise me to see 15 out of this. But I know at 17 is that 17. A lot has happened at 17 area. I'd say 16 to 18. That zone in there. I've got that 06 in there. We get down to 06 and it doesn't bounce real quick. We're going down to that 3 area real quick. Well, we're coming into that 15 zone.
Yeah,
it'd be nice to be able to scale in these things and not, have a 1 point stop on them. It's tough to do. You get better at picking these numbers and stuff like that. But like yesterday, the market was just a little bit short. One day it's going to be a little bit over. But the zone is really a good zone. I just wasn't thinking.
I'll tell you
what, when your head's not in the game,
you pay
dearly for it. Okay, we're back up to that 23 area. Well, we came back to our pivot. We bounced off of it. So your pivot players get paid off well. It's already been a good morning.
Keep
Keep in mind another 10 minutes. We've got a lot of news going to come out. Back to our 27.
Our
Our next level up's going to be 37. The 27 was a number we've had in the past that the market is really bounced off of pretty good.
At least
According to my logs.
That
Big Dan when Saul gets back, he's more entertaining than I am.
Now, that is not true.
I don't know. It just seems awful quiet around here without him.
Well,
You hadn't heard from him.
I was
I
going
was going
to
to say you hadn't heard from him, have you?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I think we'll hear from him when he ends up back in the saddle.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know how many days they have to play.
I think they play until they lose.
Yeah. Well, he's supposed to be winning the gold, so that's going to be the last game.
That's right. That's what he says, right? That's what I believe.
Well, I
I hope all his players were able to get on the airplane because he was sure sweating the COVID test.
Oh, right. That was crazy.
Yeah. Plus he didn't have any extras either. One or two guys could have just put him totally out of the game. Wouldn't have enough to play.
Yep, it's true, right?
Thank you. Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, we may run up there and test that high again. I don't know. We got a whole lot of news coming out here in another 5 minutes. Oh.
I'm
I'm just sitting back, waiting for the news to happen.
I'm
I'm getting a little close right now for the.
I
I don't know if the news is gonna hit a level and shoot on up, or what it's gonna do. But if it was just one number, I might trade it. But other than that, it's just. I've scalped enough already this morning, so.
And
And I promise, if I can scalp this morning,
you
you can scalp this morning. There's been a lot of opportunities,
and I
have missed a bunch of them just being behind the curve. You know, being behind the curve on the 27 was good. Somebody ought to know something about this news.
The
Ladder ticket's not thinning down too bad.
I
I mean, personally, I like to see 30s and 40s and 50s on the ladder ticket. It's when we start seeing 100s and 200s and 300s. This market is slow.
I mean,
Somebody throws 100 watt at it, and you go, man. All right, let's see what's going to happen. I want to be long, but I don't really have a place to be long at.
And
You could have gone along at 27 looking for the 29, but
it's not
not much of a trade. All right, you got 10 seconds. Whatever it is, it's not real happy news.
At least take it back up to 27. Oh well. Coming down to the blue band. Guess we're gonna get to see if it's gonna make it to 29 now. And there's our 29. Next level up is going to be what? 37. Oh, you're most welcome, Philip. I hope it helped. Good morning, Frank. Frank, you need the levels? No problem. There we go. And we ought to have some little resistance at 33. If you're going to take it with a tight stop. That's the reason why. We're coming up on that 37. I'm making an adjustment on my 37. I'm going to 39. Once it stop at 37. Well, we got the 36 and change on that bar there. It can still go there. If you scaled into it, you're getting paid off. if you're worried about the 37, maybe the upper end of it. But I didn't scale into it. So I'm sitting here with egg on my face. But that's okay. Trading's like a streetcar. There'll be another one along in a minute. Well, guys, if y'all moved yours, I hate that I said anything, but it was looking like the momentum was going to carry us on up there and possibly into that 40 area. But I should have realized that 37 carried some more weight. It stopped it. It's kind of like that 27. And that's a good lesson to you. We just take the levels, you put the stop in, it runs through and gets a stop. Hey, go to the next level. We'll wait. Yesterday I wasn't quite getting to them, and today they're pretty well Johnny on the spot. Sure was a lot of news out for just that little pop.
Hey, quick shout out, welcome to Frank. Hey, Frank, good morning, welcome.
Well,
Well, I had to break down and take the 37. I put it in there. At least I had to do is risk something. I made 1 point. So that's good enough.
You know,
I was really looking to see about 30 area. Well, if anybody was gutsy enough to take the 37, you get paid off again. Let's see. Well, guys, if anybody has any questions, ask away.
Hey, Tim? It's great, right? Here for a long time. Yeah, God, good.
Hey, Brad, your mic's on.
There you
There you go.
Well, doesn't.
Nope, still on.
And this is a lot. Do you have a lot of windows like that? Just this one. This one at the moment. There's one that he's working on because it's stuck. Okay. Usually it's just these things that break. Yeah. Right? And then he has a thing here that he said.
Who's he? Raymond?
Remote.
Vermont.
Yeah.
I think what I'm gonna have to do is get my window guy.
Okay, Frank, let me, see if I can get Brad to shut his mic off.
It needs a new balance.
Wait a second, I may be able to do it from right here.
Yeah. And he said that he.
Yeah, I can do it from right here. Look at me.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, they're ready, but I need to get the specific hardware for that. The dishwasher, did they call you yet?
They're coming up with-
When I enter a trade,
Hopefully.
what's my platform stop and what's my mental stop?
Okay, great.
Well, if I've got a platform stop in there, it's there. It's just, it's 4 or 5 points,
But they come back.
depending on the day.
Yeah.
So once that's done, I think it's gonna solve.
Lately, I've just been sticking with 5s. But lately, I've been running without a stop too, and I can tell you right now, it's for me, most of the time, I'm okay. But it's just that one time that this market all of a sudden moves 20 points and you don't have to stop it. And that's those are the plots. That's the reason you put a stop in there.
in
In
case
case the limb breaks at your own, you know, you've got something to catch you. You're not wasting too much money.
And
And a lot of times, if I'm running without a stop, is if I buy in at a level or sell at a level,
and it
and it goes against me, then I've got to figure out.
Right now,
Now we're if you use 2 points
in
in this market with the volatility like it is,
let's see.
so you're down to a 27. I said we ought to get back to 30.
Like
I can see 23, 24 out of it, and it's possible, it's probable.
I know
I know at 26, 27, I've got a little support area in there. So anytime that it goes against me and it doesn't bounce right back in the direction, or if I'm say it's dropping down and I buy a level, well, it takes off and drops again. Well, I might be looking at it and say, okay, now I got to buy 2 levels. So and if it drops again, you know, you're losing an awful lot.
Yeah.
So if you're trading the levels, and the levels this morning we you know, like the 37, we didn't overrun it. I mean the 27 we overrun it by what, a point and a half, something like that. So 3 to 5 points is, you know, just depending on your risk tolerance. And you know, these are counter trend trades. Okay, we got down where we're supposed to go to. Now, see what it's going to go to. Go down, we'll be banned. But you know, if you're long, if you're thinking this market's long, and it's just one bar. I mean, we've gone from 37 or 36 down to 20. So. You know, if you can stand that kind of a drawdown, and I don't like it. I can tell you this: it's an insane way to trade, and I beat myself up. And I can tell you that don't do that. And it comes from a lot of lost money on my part. A lot of kicking myself on my part, you know, a lot of self-abuse. And that's what happens when you do something stupid. You know, because really, truly, let's face it, there's nobody to blame but us, because we're the ones pushing with these great ideas and pushing these mouse buttons. So, you know, when Saul's telling everyone, he says, you know, my intentions is to teach you what we do through this course, and for you to be able to do it, whether he's here or not. And so, I don't care if you trade this system, somebody else's system, if you're going to be an options trader. You know, we're trading widgets. We don't care what the name is on the widget. And a lot of what we're doing here is counter trend trading. Well, you know, because all Saul is telling you, and I'm telling you in the mornings, I put down some levels here that the market should react off from to. And are they going to work? You know, we have no idea. They should. And if you've been in the room long enough, you know that we're not off too far. Some days we are Johnny on the spot. Other days we're missing them by a point. Other days we're getting 2 or 3 point overruns. And so we have to learn to adjust and trade around those. And then there's days with the level of this market is, say they're buying it, it's going up, well, it hits a level and backs off a point, 3/4 of a point, then it takes off and goes again. I mean, days like that, for what we do, it's hard to scout because the reaction areas, they're reacting, but it ain't enough to justify the loss.
And
And really, truly, those are days that are pretty easy after you've been doing this a while. You can start to see them.
And
we usually have either on the upside or downside, either one. We'll usually have 2 or 3 of those a month. And so if you recognize them early, a lot of times it's just kind of like, if you learn to recognize them, you got to jump at on point. You just jump on and sit back and go with the flow.
It does.
The goal here is to make money, and don't get me wrong, you're gonna get stopped out. That's just part of it. There's going to be those moments that we can't anticipate, we don't know about. It just happens, and stop gets us. We get out. We don't like getting stopped out. That's not something that we're. I'm watching the trade here to see if it's going to develop out into one. If we can get above 23.75. I guess this whole week I've been talking about stops, and I was thinking about it last night. I said, folks on the other side have got to be tired of listening to this. And the reason that we do it is that it's something that we all know. When I look at the list of the people that are in the room, I have no idea what their capabilities and their trading, what their trading capabilities might lie, how long they've been trading, and are they understanding this? And for the people that do it all the time, they understand, All right, if we can get to there. I know Saul has just, when I sit back and look at his career, on the floor and floor traded, as long as he does, you walk down and you stand in that pit and you're buying and selling and just, thousands of contracts a day. And thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. But it's just, you think about it. Okay, if that was you down in the pit, and they don't have any screens to look at. All they were looking at was hand signals. I mean, they looked at a board up there and they could see where price was. So he survived all that, and I'm going. And if you've ever been on the floor, or at least been down to the floor and watched all of this that's going on, you're going, my goodness, how do they do that? I have enough trouble looking at the screen.
The guy,
one time we took it, we were there taking a class, and
there
there was a guy from the exchange that took us down on the floor.
And
And I asked him, I says,
"Dude,
do all of these guys make money doing this?
He
He said on average, he says, yeah, they make money. And he says, but it's nothing for them to be down $2 million at the end of the day. And I'm just, my heart sunk when he said that. I'm going, I'd have heart failure. I'm taking a quick scalp on this string, and I took it at 23.75.
All right.
All right,
That was
it's worth 3 points. That's a good deal.
The people that are working that boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live in Southeast Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, a lot. When we're looking at points,
It's
it's a whole lot easier to look at points than it is dollars, because dollars hit home too well. I took that trade because it's set up, and I took it because we were down in an area, and everybody's going to ask, well, what is that area? Well, it's one of those things. I'm sure everybody's heard of measured moves.
And
the market measuring that move to the downside, it was about the same as it was from that 27. And so once we broke above something, and I had an area up there at that 37. The 23. Yeah, the 23.75 is where I was looking at getting long. And I just put the order in, it was sitting there, and it was trading below that, and all of a sudden we got this move here. It broke, went up, took a few points, got out. I'm not holding this thing to all the way back to the top. I don't know where it's going. But my objective was to catch this bounce. We're in an area that we should bounce from.
Yeah.
When I first started during this mess, and it's a long story how I got into this. But back then I started, and I was looking at trading options. So there was a company out there called Optionetics, and I'm sure they're still around. And they came to cities all over the United States, and everybody would go to them. And Houston was our closest big city. And about every year or so, they would have their instructors come in and give a 2-day seminar. And they were real interested in this. But what was really it was real interesting because a lot of these people that were waiting on us were younger kids. I mean, they looked like they were barely out of high school. Might have been freshman college kids. And you'd see them there, and maybe 6, 8 months, 12 months later, they'd have another course, and you'd go to the next one, and you'd say, well, where's so-and-so? Said, oh, he quit and went to trading on his own. I mean, all of them went on to
I don't
I don't know if they stayed with it.
But
But, when I look at it,
and
and
I'm
I'm going, okay, where is all the money at?
To
To the market. It's either that or in the market, in the bank. So I'm not sharp enough to be a banker. So I guess I better go figure out how to get some of it out of the market. And, my perspective is okay, we've had
if I
could come in, sit down,
I'm
I'm not trying to make millions. I'll be the first one to tell you. I'm just trying to be able to scout the market and make a little bit. If I go home with $50 in my pocket and I didn't lose, even after my losses, I still I don't care if I killed $12.50. I have seen the times I'm happy to do that. And as you do this over and over and over again, you learn that, okay, I'm here to scout. The only disadvantage to this is it's time consuming in the point that you have to just sit in front of a computer.
The
option guys, they like to look at the thing on Sunday afternoon, go through 50, 60, 100 stocks real quick. And it doesn't take long. You can make up your mind real quick. And delete them, and Monday morning you already know what you're going to do. Put in your orders and see what happens. But back then when we started, 30 days was about as short of an option as you could get. Now we got weekly options, and people aren't holding options for days and days and days. They're in them today and out by Wednesday. Or in them on Mondays and out by Thursdays. Some people hold them on Fridays. But the market has changed a bunch. I can tell you this: when I first started, I sat in front of this computer all day long, and one day I made $450, and I thought I had hung the moon. And I think the next month or two, I was lucky to make. You couldn't even buy a point. I know a lot of Forex traders, and it seems to me, from looking at a Forex chart, Forex tends to trend in a direction. It's not as choppy as this S&P is. And that's something else. I don't understand the Forex market. I know that the banks manipulate a lot of it. Of course, the S&P is manipulated by the big guys anyway. So, back then when we started to short something, you had to. First of all, you had to have an options account. Or you had to have a stock account, and if you want to trade futures, you had to have a futures account. It's not like one account does all now. My account, I can trade anything I want to, as long as I've got the margins in the backup in there. But if you wanted to short a stock, you had to go borrow it from a broker, then you had to pay him a fee and all of this. And I'm going, that sure is a lot of work. It sure was a whole lot easier just to. Yeah, that's true. They I didn't have, I see this move to the downside, but I didn't have a reason to take it. Now, unless you said, well, if we get below 27, we're going down. We're trading back at our pivot.
coming
on down to that 15 area. First level we have down there is going to be around 10. Yesterday, if y'all remember, we had an 11. So it may settle on that 11. It may go through it a little bit. Don't know. That's why we're using 10.
But you
know, we're for some reason I gravitated to the, I started trading around the Dow because it was cheap, $5 a point. Now we had the micro ES, and I've looked at it. You can trade it. It's just kind of like, I have to sit around how long to wait for $50. I'm going, nah. I'm getting greedy in my older age, I think. You know, 10-point move in the Dow is only $50. I'm going, yeah, but you don't lose as much either. That's true. And I've played the NASDAQ. I like the NASDAQ. It's okay. For some reason, I keep gravitating to the ES. I like the ES. The ES has a lot of players in it. A lot of people are hedging their portfolios with futures. The options guys. I mean, everything's interactive now, so. I come in here to scout to make a little bit out of the market. There's very seldom I can go back on a day and look and say, okay, what was my largest trade? If I had a $500-600 trade, that was a big trade. But on average, they were probably 100, 150, 125. And so if you can cut down on your losses. Yeah. There's just, it's just, this is where everyone in this room has to make up their mind on what they're looking for out of trading. I know people say, "Oh, you can make thousands of dollars a day." You can't, and you can lose thousands of dollars a day too, because I've done it. But if you keep it simple, and you got to admit, Saul's charts. I got a few more things on mine, but if you're not going to use it, have it up there. That's it's a good way. But that's just my way of thinking. I know people that you look at their charts and I'm going, well, what does this do? Well, when this star gets aligned to this one, and this one does this one, and this, you're sitting there waiting for all the dots to line up. I'm going, I did that been in a trade here, I'm done. That's true. There was one guy, and he was an instructor, and he and I were visiting one day, and I was asking about the same questions y'all were asking me, and his answers, they seemed to make sense at the time.
He
said, I moved out of the ES because first of all,
I
I had to trade with a bigger stop and it cost more money.
And
And he said, I moved over to the Dow. I guess he liked the Dow because it was, when you start taking 10 points in the Dow, that's a pretty good.
Click up or down, either one. But when you're moving a 10-point ES move, that equates to what, 40 Dow points, 40 or 50 Dow points. So directionally, he said, or technically speaking, when it's moving, it's setting up technically. And he says, the NASDAQ technically trades better to him than the ES does. And he made the statement that, we see a pattern and the pattern sets up and it should be going to point X. Well, in the ES, it gets close to point X and stops and reverses, and you're sitting there waiting for it to hit point X. If you look over the NASDAQ, you see that same pattern setting up, and they just about 99% of the time always go to the point X. So technically speaking, I guess because there's more traders in the NASDAQ over there than there are over here, and he was getting stopped out a bunch, and he said, I had to widen my stops out. So, we can die a death by 1,000 cuts, or, we can get a few and die the same death. So that's something you got to make up your own mind. But I know when you read all the books on risk management out there, and you've done this and done that, it boils down to one thing. Look, if you don't have if you blow your account, you're done. If you're stuck in a trade that you didn't get out of, you can't get into another one, you're done. I mean, at least until you get out of that one. So your factory's shut down, so your money making capabilities are shut down. And I think the longer that I do this, I keep putting things in a simpler terms, because I don't want to be one of those people that has 40,000 indicators on my chart. I've learned to trade the price action. The price action has been good to me. I'm long right now at 21.25. I have a reason. I am out of my trade. I was in that thing a minute. I'm not telling you this to brag on you. I guess to brag. I'm just trying to say, okay, there's a lot of trades that are happening. Yeah, they can. And it's to the point now where I don't even go and look at the NASDAQ or the Dow. I just show up in this one and play this one. It's just kind of like, this is a swimming pool and I'm swimming in. I don't care how deep the water is. And if it gets choppy, I just have to, if I'm going to swim, I've got to learn to swim in the chop. And so if you're going to trade these numbers, learn to trade them. They work real well, but there again, the numbers are not all that's going on. There's a lot of trades that happen during the day that either myself or Saul's not telling you about, because some of that came through his course. Some of it is just stuff that I've taken other courses and I've got my toolbox and I use and it worked. And a lot of it is watching what the market's doing. So for everybody out there, it's just you gotta kind of find your own way. And if you're serious about this and you like this, uh, I highly recommend Saul's course. I enjoyed it. It's not that sophisticated. It's simple. But if you're not interested in spending that kind of money, just come sit in the room and just get the numbers every day. If you like trading the numbers, that's the simplest way. I mean, basically, we're telling you how we're trading these areas. Sometimes we're fading them. Sometimes uh, I'm using the numbers almost straight up today. I missed that first fade, but the second one worked out well. I had to move my number from 39 back to 37. I said, I'm going to take it. I may be wrong. But we all have we are, I guess what I'm trying to say, we kind of are products of our environment to what we've been exposed to as traders. We pick up a bit here, a bit there, and you know, you can go on YouTube, and I mean, you want to know about something, you type it in there. Now, I can't say everything on YouTube is exactly correct. I found, not in the trading videos, but other things I found that that it's kind of true, but it's not true. To a certain extent, that would hold true, but then after that, it's not going to work. Okay, where would we go from here? Well, I'd look to see the 32. Now, is it going to stop here and go down? Don't know. But I don't have a place to get in, so all I can say is I would look to see the 32. We'll just have to wait and see if it gets there. But the things, if you can't find a use for it, then it's just clutter. And I'm not saying that all these other indicators, if you learn how to use them, for instance, people trade the MACD. They know how to use it. It works well for them. It's like these Bollinger Bands. I look at the blue one, but I have no idea what to do with those outside red ones. And I don't, it's kind of like somebody'd have to show me and tell me and teach me. And then I'd have to say, do I want to mess with them? It's kind of like, okay, if she's going to do this, it's got to do this before that happens. So are we at a level? What's price action doing? That's it. We can only trade what the market gives us. That's for sure. And we made it up to 30. For some reason, it made that 32 now null and void. They I know we need to see 27.25 again. So, when it gets like that, you're kind of, I see things on both sides that should be happening. Usually when that happens, you just have to wait, because and the more times, the more things that you start to see like that, the choppier that it's going to get. And a lot of times they will fulfill both sides of it. If we came down to the 27 and we reverse back up, then I would look to see the 32. But it's kind of like laying one card down at a time until you see enough to put the hand together. And we're going to have to break something now. That 30's got some support in there. I mean, a little resistance up there. But we also know that 27, 28 area, it holds a lot. We got some at 26. So we're all headed for the same destination. We just have different starting points in our journeys. And if I could share something with you that helped you, I'm glad to. I think that's wonderful. The only thing I can't share is things like that Saul teaches in his course. He shares a lot of it, but he doesn't share all of it with everybody. And the reason for that is that, there's a lot of people spend a lot of money to learn all of this stuff, and that ought to be respected. And I try and respect that, but I've seen Saul help people and help people and help people, and trying to get them on the right path. And that old adage, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Well, that's kind of like trading. I mean, we can tell you where, and we can tell you about what we're doing and how we're doing it. And then it boils down to, okay, it's kind of in your court now. Look, you're going to have to learn to do it for you, your way, the way that you're comfortable with and the way that you like it. And the way that when we get run over at a level, we don't even look back at it. Said, I don't mind taking a loss. Just look at it on the bright side. Man, it saved me for myself. Yeah, that's true. And we all come to this thing with different skill sets. I came to this market out of the greenhouse business. I mean, it has nothing to do with the financial market. You're talking about dumber than a stump. What's a contract? It does what now? Yeah, I'm telling you, it just. But it's something that I enjoy doing. And most of the time, I'm an outside person. I really like doing stuff with my hands. But after about 30 something years of it, for 24/7 in the greenhouse business, I'm going, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be able to stay cool in the summer and warm in the winter. And I don't want to have to worry about it's a holiday. I have to go take care of plants because plants, they don't care what day it is. They want to be fed and kept warm and cool. And I said, and I don't get me wrong. I was blessed to have the employees that I did. Without them, I couldn't have done a fraction of what I accomplished. But I'm glad that I don't have any employees. It's a responsibility that I don't miss. And my computer's my employee. I get mad at it, I shut it off. I don't want to trade today. I may come in and sit down. There's been a lot of days I come in and sit down and says, I don't like this market. Now, it turned out to be a great market. But if you don't, what was it? Alexander Elder says, if you need a place where you can shut the door, turn off the TV, and just trade. Don't let those, because if you're thinking about mowing grass or I got to go do this or fix that or I got to be here, you you find out that it'll take your money real quick that way too. But if you're watching the action of the trade, what's going on? Do we have news out at 9? Yeah, this thing should be moving around more than what it's moving around. We had a lot of news at 9 and 9:30. Whatever it was, it seems like they're just consolidating this zone. I can't tell if they're going to push it up, push it down. Today is Wednesday. If we I know by Friday they need to close this thing higher than 44 on Friday afternoon. But it's typical 10 o'clock. Let's see, what can I make a prediction on what this thing should do besides go up? Yeah. We missed the trade at 9:50. Yeah, we got up to 31. It's gonna touch our 32. Yep. Let's see, how many trades have we had today? I've had about 10. Cherry seeds. You know, they tell you that you can take a plum seed, get it out of the plum, pop it open, and plant it, and it'll make a plum tree. That is true. It will do that. Uh, oh, okay. But you know, if you don't graft something onto them, usually you don't get much of a plum crop out of them. Yeah, Pikes was a big operation there around Atlanta. I'm glad I'm not in the greenhouse business anymore. It just stuff has gone through the roof. You know, when you got trucks on the road, that's just like putting a target on your back. Said, "Here, somebody sue me." Sooner or later, somebody will make a mistake, get in a wreck. So, but I'll give y'all a challenge if y'all want to try something tomorrow. Before I get on, come up with your own numbers. Yeah, I understand. You know, we're further south and we're close to the Gulf Coast down here. The bugs will just eat us alive if we're not spraying. I mean, if I planted 10 tomato plants out there, I'd give 9 3/4 of them to the bugs. And I'd be lucky to get some. You know, I guess, being in the greenhouse business for so long, we got to see a lot of things come and go. We saw chemicals that disappeared. We saw new chemicals that was supposedly better, greater, that cost a whole lot more, but didn't work half as well. And if you saw a chemical come online that it really worked, they took it off the market. So, and I guess when you're eating food, I understand that, you know, everybody wants good, healthy food. And the only way to do that is to grow it, because, you know, we were inspected. We had greenhouses full of tomatoes that we actually grew the vine ripe tomatoes for the stores. And, you know, we were always being inspected. So we had to keep spray logs. And if it wasn't cleared for whatever crop we were growing, man, they could hang us out to dry. Uh, so it had to be cleared for greenhouse tomatoes before we'd even use it. But it's, you know, if you have a greenhouse, you create the perfect environment for the plant to grow, but also the bugs thrive in it too. There's no such thing as a greenhouse without a bug. He just hadn't come in yet. Yeah. And I'm too lazy. I crank up a 150-gallon spray rig and I go to it. We could spray products called Parathon. Tomatoes. I know how to grow tomatoes, but no, I don't know those folks. Oh, and if you'd probably put a pint of that stuff to the acre. But if you were to take your hand and stick it down in the tank, pull it right back out, and wash it off with water, odds are you wouldn't make it to the hospital. And we live within 15 minutes of one. That's how bad it was. And you didn't, once you sprayed a field or sprayed a greenhouse, you didn't go back in it for 7 days. It had to be self-sufficient for 7 days. But that'd be the only time that I know of that when you went back in there wasn't a living bug left in there. Of course, they took that off the market. I guess it killed a bunch of growers too. Yeah. There used to be, for home garden, there used to be a product called Blackleaf 40. Blackleaf 40 or Blackleaf 44, something like that. And basically what it was nicotine. That's all it was. Way back there, the old timers used to make their own spray. They would take tobacco and they'd go outside and they'd build a fire and they'd put a big old pot of gallon or two of water on that fire and they'd tobacco and break it up and throw it in there and bring it to a boil and set the thing off. But what it does, it cooks the nicotine sulfate out of the tobacco. They let it cool down and they'd strain it through a cloth and get all the tobacco off of it. And they just have some juice left. And don't get that juice on you, man. It'll make your lips start stinging and everything else. But it's a great insecticide. But the trouble is how much nicotine are you getting in that gallon or 2 gallons of water? Then how much do you have to dilute it to put it on the plants? And yeah, and not only that, you walk over and breathe that vapor, it will knock you in the dirt. Yeah. I know up in tobacco country and stuff, they didn't have a lot of bugs on their tobacco. Well, we had some resistance up there at 33, but not enough to take the trade. I have 44 in there. I like 44 is a number that's there. 47, 48 would maybe a better number. But we won't know until we get up there. So if this thing is really moving at 43 when it gets there, yeah. we'll have to wait and see what happens. But and that's the problem is you have to get in the trade regardless. But I know 37 carries a little weight to it. Yeah, if you can get in and start going your way quick enough, this we're coming up, we're coming up on a little after 10. The guys in Europe, they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do. Yesterday, they took it up, stopped it, and sent it back down a little bit. But today, I would look for them to keep taking it up. This is kind of the reaction that I was looking for when we got up to 37, the first rattle out of the bag this morning. So I said I'd move my deal to 39. But I was looking for a better reaction. If it would have done this morning, I'd have been fine with it.